we talked about doing a second one, and we talked about that it was really, both Elle and I felt really strongly, and Disney, that we wouldn't just do it and do another episode, another chapter, just because we could, and watch them have another experience. That if we were to do it, we needed to really, there needed to be a reason to come back. And so we didn't do it right away. We really wanted to make sure that we had the right story, and that we knew what we wanted to say, most of all with their relationship. And where are they now? Where is this? They are a very unusual mother-daughter relationship, and this time Maleficent has a young woman on her hands, and it's not easy for Maleficent as a mom. And so I think in the end, this film says a beautiful thing about accepting differences, about encouraging people to be of their own true nature, and of people accepting each other's own true nature, and finding family in that. One of the things with fairy logic is fairies, anything in nature has a purpose. And so some water fairies, we know what they do, or certain flowers that are with the moss, or the tree bark, or the sunrise, or the snow, or the whatever it may be. What is Maleficent? She's more of the dark fae are of the different biomes. So they are from all around the world, and part of the reason they're big is because they travel across the world, across the oceans. They move. They inhabit all lands, and they share. They share in a way, they represent Mother Nature. So they are both but in the biggie forms, in the earthquakes, in the snowstorm, and also in maybe some other big beautiful way. But as we all know, Mother Nature can be absolutely stunning and glorious, and feed and shade and protect, or it can absolutely destroy. And that's who the Dark Fae are. They're a part of that. He has a majesty to him, and he has a grace to him, and the way he holds himself and speaks, and what he represents is very powerful. And so what he brings to the story, and what Chiwetel brings as an actor, is a real gravitas and a real wisdom. We knew when we were being insane, or we knew when we were, and so it was fun to be able to be, in between most takes, we would laugh at each other, or laugh at how mean we'd just been to each other, or, so it was really fun. Yeah, really fun to be able to spar with another woman that way. I love Maleficent. She's kind of like my alter ego. I have a warm spot for her. It feels oddly comfortable, like more than it should. It should feel. I feel like it's one of those things. Like, I kept thinking every day, am I doing enough? I kept saying to everybody, am I doing enough? I don't feel like I'm doing her. I don't feel like I'm doing enough. And everybody kept saying, no, that's it. So maybe the line between us has blurred a little bit, because I feel very comfortable as her.
It sort of spans a big demographic of audience, because it speaks to the gray areas. It speaks to what is good, what is evil. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. And we are both things. And I think that children aren't always sent that message. And I think it's a relief to know, oh, I guess that part of me that isn't so innocent and maybe has evil thoughts every now and then is normal. It's always fun playing a villain, and I think the challenge is sort of finding the humanity in a character like Queen Ingrid, because there always is, I guess, the option of just playing it all one color and just being evil, but My favorite villains that I've seen in films have always had sort of a humanity about them, and you kind of actually feel sorry for them at the same time that you hate them. Queen Ingrid is she's a leader, and she's responsible for a lot of people, and she's damaged, and she's been betrayed by a lot of the men in her life and let down. The biggest one being her father. It's really breathtaking. I remember when the first day she walked on the set, and it was the first scene that my character actually sees her, and so it takes your breath away. And I hadn't seen her in those green contacts either, and she's just otherworldly in this part. She has the ability to make what could be a rather banal kind of character interesting, and she just does. It's incredible the subtleties that her face portrays in front of the camera, and she's seemingly not doing much, but there's so much that is coming across with her face. It's kind of extraordinary. Lickspittle is working feverishly to gain his freedom back, which of course he's never going to get. Poor darling. But he's very funny, and he works tirelessly to invent a way to eliminate the fairies of the moors.
Little girls would come up to me and ask, "Oh, you're Aurora, you're Sleeping Beauty," and I'd never had that before, and so to finally be able to tell them that there's a second one coming out, and you get to see it again, and a new story and a new chapter of their lives and of the moors and this fantastical kind of mystical world that was created. You get to see more of that, and the creatures, and everybody's coming back, and that just really drew me in. And I was so excited to also pick up, Aurora when she was older. She's a young woman now. She's not just a little girl. I was very excited and to get to come back and go to Pinewood, which is such a home, and the crew, a lot of the same crew members came back as well, and just to have that feeling of camaraderie and like, oh, we're doing this again, and that was huge for me and really exciting, and also just to be with Angelina again and get to see her, and we had a lot of fun in London. We went paintballing together, we went bowling together, so there's a lot of different outings, and we got to spend a lot of time, and really we got very, very close on this film. Also, just her seeing me as, an older person as well, not a teenager anymore, so it was nice, and seeing Sam again, and now he has a son, and it's like everybody in their life, it's like they have all these new things and new stories to tell, so it was very exciting to get to be the three amigos again like we were last time. Well, her new mother-in-law is Michelle Pfeiffer, and that she is Queen Ingrid, and yes, that's Prince Philip's mom. And she is this very regal kind of, decked out in jewels and pearls, and this, proper queen who really has quite a great death stare, I would say. But there's something about which Aurora also feels kind of at home with her, and she makes her feel very welcomed, and there's something where she, of course, I'm marrying Philip, I want his mother to like me, I want to impress her, and I want to do good, and I hope that she, thinks that I'm right for her son, and it's those family things, that all those family dynamics that happen in real life. And she turns out to be the evil mother-in-law. There is no one in the world that could play Maleficent except for Angelina Jolie. I mean, she's brought this, from the first movie, she completely created this version of Maleficent that people know now. I mean, there's a whole, generation of kids that, that saw the first one, and also maybe, that's the Maleficent that they know. And it's very exciting for this film to come out of kids that maybe weren't even born, since the last movie came out, and now they get to see this Maleficent. The wedding dress was just impeccable. I mean, it was outstanding. My favorite. I never wanted to take it off. There were days. How many days did we shoot? I think I shot maybe 3 days in that dress, and there, you don't realize all the flowers. There were just tons of flowers that were on the train, and also on my sleeves, and that kind of ran up the dress. And a lot of those were like laser cut feathers, so they were made out of feathers, like flowers, and on top of each other. And I forget how much, but it was just tons of fabric. I mean, it was really long. I couldn't walk. I couldn't go anywhere without anybody holding it up for me. And then in between takes, I had to go stand in a horse box in between takes, which we all remember, which it was a very hot day. It was very cool in there, so that was nice. But I would just be standing in my giant dress, just in the horse box, alone in there. But I was happy because I had it on, so that was okay. It was very special. I remember walking down the aisle that first time with Angelina walking me down, and I'd never walked down an aisle before, obviously, so it was a very special moment. And we had music playing, and the dark fae were there, and the townspeople were there, and more folk, and it was just tons of people. It really felt like a real, true wedding. And I remember that feeling of walking down in the dress for the first time, and Angelina was in her classic black, and it was black velvet, and she was back in her true Maleficent form. And it was just, this was what it is all about. This is truly Maleficent, this is truly Aurora, and they're finally together. And that moment, I think it was very special for both Angelina and I.